Welcome to week 2, and this week we're going to dive in just a little bit to marketing. You know, when we're talking about the basics of mastering your marketing plan, we're not going to get too complex. You probably don't have a ton of money to spend on marketing, but you want to grow. And that's totally fine because we all had to start at that same point. We all didn't have a whole lot of money that we got to put into marketing and have these fancy elaborate campaigns. I'll give you a little secret. People typically want to hire smaller local companies. So if your stuff doesn't look as polished, sometimes that's even better. A lot of times customers are going to associate the really nice produced postcards and door hangers, and they're going to assume that if it looks really, really nice, that it's probably going to cost them even more money. Sometimes the really low budget stuff performs way better than the really nice polished fancy postcards. Just because you don't have a lot of money to mass produce and make these things look really amazing, don't get worried about that. Let's talk about marketing a little bit. You need to find a niche. Who is it that is your direct client? And then you need to talk specifically to that person. Let's talk about Donald Trump a little bit. No matter whether you love him or you hate him, this has no bearing on this video. But if you look at his political campaign, what did he do? He became very polarizing. The people that he was talking to, he got really good at talking to those people. And everybody that didn't agree with him, he threw them to the curb. He kicked them over there and he did not care about them, not one bit. He didn't need their vote. Think about the same thing for you. You need to figure out who your niche is, and you need to talk specifically to those people. You just need a good handful of people that know you, like you, and trust you. So when you're starting to talk to these people, think about that from how Donald Trump's social media team did that. Maybe you're not using the same, language that he uses, but just in the same manner of you found your target, you know exactly who your voter is, and you're going to talk specifically to that voter. And everybody else, throw by the wayside. You don't need those 75 million other votes, or how many ever votes there were. If you need to grow by 200 customers this year, you only need to figure out how to talk to those 200 people. What do they have in common? What are their typical ages? What type of house do they live in? What kind of jobs do they have? Do they have kids? Do they not have kids? What kind of cars do they drive? What is your target demographic? What is that niche's demographics? What are their pain points? Maybe their previous guy, they wanted to only text message, and he didn't want to text message with them anymore. Figure out whatever their pain points are. So if you have some customers that you really like, and ask them, hey, why do you keep coming back to me? Why do you like my service? What did you hate about your previous person? That's going to start teaching you who your niche is. And then you're going to start going after those people. So once you start doing that, referrals become easier because those people know other people that are very similar to them. So then the referrals start happening a little bit more. Your marketing becomes less expensive because you know exactly who you're targeting. Your cost per lead goes down, your cost per client acquisition goes down. Because you know how to talk to those people, your marketing becomes way more effective. And then when you start building out your website, you build your website to target that demographic of people as well. Number one, figure out who do you want to sell to. You don't need to sell to everybody. You only want to work on estates. You want to work on super high-end properties. Do you want to just be a mow and blow guy? Whatever you want to do, it's totally fine. Just figure out whatever that thing is, and then figure out whatever their pain points are, what the demographics of them are, where do they live. Maybe you only want to service people in Westfield. All right, well, I don't need to talk to people in Greenwood. I'm only going to be focusing on Westfield or whatever your area is. And you're a smaller company, you're probably going to fail because you're going to have a lot of windshield time. You're going to start paying people to be not productive, just driving around. It's going to cost you a lot of money in fuel. It's going to cost you a lot of money repairing your tires. All these different things are going to come up. And now we can start talking a little bit more about marketing. We don't want to spend a whole lot of money in marketing. So how can we market without having to spend an arm and a leg? Now, as you get more sophisticated, it's going to cost you a lot more money. But for the terms of this video, talking to you under $500,000, probably closer to the $250,000 mark, how can you become more effective at that? Find all of the Facebook groups that you're in or in your area. Maybe they're mom groups, they're chatter groups, all these different groups that are in your area, and start providing a lot of value. You cannot advertise in those groups, so follow the Facebook rules, the group rules, and maybe you're not saying, hey, I can do this service for you, but you can make content like I'm making for you right now, and you can provide a lot of value to that group. This is how you mow your lawn. This is how you trim your shrubs. After you trim all of it, here's a hack that maybe you take your leaf rake and you you hit the shrub, whatever that thing is, make a lot of content. Then you can put those in that Facebook group. People know, like, and trust you, and then they're going to, when they have a need, they're going to reach out to you. Making content is not an overnight success story. It's going to take time. People are going to have to see it, and then they start believing that, hey, this is the right person for this job. And maybe you can even get your clients to post in those Facebook groups for you. Maybe you trade and say, hey, I'll give you 2 weeks of free mowing if you do some type of content in these groups or post good reviews about me, and figure out how you can kind of leverage things that don't cost a lot of money. Man, that is a win-win. So people keep seeing your name, your business name, and eventually when they have a need, they're going to reach out. The next thing, referrals. Text your customers, call your customers, email your customers, ask them after you do a really good job, hey Jim, do you know anybody else that we could provide this service for? Every single person you send me, I'll give you a free hour of lawn care, or like trimming your shrubs, or whatever it is. Figure out what the benefit is for them to refer you another one of their friends. Trust me, if you're taking care of them, they have a lot of friends that also hire people to do the same. But you have to ask, and you have to repeatedly ask. Text them, call them, talk to them. When you see them and you're out working at the property, ask them, and they will eventually start referring their friends. The next thing you can do door hangers. So if you have a small area, figure out, you can go on to Fiverr, FIVERR.com, and you can pay somebody like $20, $25 to design you a postcard. You don't have to make these postcards look unbelievable. Typically, the less produced door hangers, they look a little bit not as great, but they typically perform a little bit better because people associate that your service might be less expensive than the other one, and everybody in this economy is out to save a buck. If you go on Vistaprint, do not use any template thing that they have. Create a unique one, something that's going to stand out, it's going to grab their eye. Don't put a lawnmower on it because nobody cares about your lawnmower. Nobody cares about your equipment. What benefit can you provide them? They care about the peace of mind that they're going to get. They don't have to do it. You're going to show up every single day, or every single time that you say you're going to. You're going to be responsive when we have problems. You're going to respond to them. Can you take a credit card? Do you not charge me an extra service fee for my credit card? Because people don't want that stuff. But there's a stat that was put out by like Harvard. You have to be seen like 8 to 13 times before someone typically hires you. So you're putting out door hangers. You're in the Facebook groups. Maybe you're going to put out some yard signs in lawns that you already have. Next to that you just put that yard sign in, you do a 5 around. So you do door hangers on the 5 houses surrounding it. And then you have a picture of your yard sign on that door hanger so people know, oh, this yard sign or this door hanger is that quality, that company's quality, and he did a really good job. Maybe I'm going to call that guy. Here's the biggest thing that you could do for your business. I would build a really, really good website. And you watching this video cannot build a really, really good website. You need to hire somebody that is really good, and they do this all of the time. If you need a referral, I can hook you up with a couple people that do websites, but you have to get a really, really good website. And if you don't, you're not going to be found on Google. So when somebody is thinking about hiring somebody to mow their lawn or trim their shrubs or blow their leaves, they might not remember your name from the Facebook groups, but then when they see your website pop up, they're gonna be like, oh, Jim Smith's lawn mowing. I remember him. I've seen him all over Facebook. I saw his yard sign. I got a door hanger, and here's his website. His website looks really good. He's got really good reviews. I'm gonna call this guy. I see him everywhere. I see his truck now. Get your truck painted and lettered, get a logo on it so people see it, make sure it's not white. Now if you're in commercial, maybe that's different. You don't get customers that way. But if you're in residential, make sure that you brand your trucks. People see you driving around. Don't get a basic white or black or red truck like everybody else. Make sure it stands out like a sore thumb and people can see it. Our website lives at the top of Google because we spend a lot of money on our website, but we get a lot of leads from it. Our best customers come from Google. They come through our website. They've read everything on our website. So make sure that you hire a really good web developer to build you a website that is for SEO. The way that you rank on Google is not how pretty the website is. It's how well the website was built in the background. You need to have a Google My Business set up, or Google Business Profile, I think they call it now. That tells you, Google, that you're a local company. You've set this thing up. Here's all the services that you have. They can provide pictures of the work that you've done. Make sure that you get all your customers to leave you a review. That is how you get higher on Google. Ask your customers, give them free stuff. Hey, I'll give you a free mow if you leave me a 5-star review. Most customers will be like, heck yeah, I will trade 30 seconds of my time to leave you a 5-star review if I get a free mow next week and it's gonna save me $65. Okay, so those are 3 things. Most of them were not very expensive. The website definitely is going to cost you some money. Expect to spend $5,000 to $10,000 to build the website, and then you're gonna spend $700 to $1,500 a month maintaining that website. So it's going to cost you some money for sure, but it's going to be the best bang for your buck in the long run. And then let's talk about some basic KPIs. So you need to know how many leads you got and where they came from. Did they come from yard signs? Did they come from door hangers? Did they come from Google? Did they come from Facebook? Did they come from word of mouth? It's incredibly important when you start spending money on marketing that you know where all of your leads are coming from. Then you need to know, how much did I spend on that lead source? How much did my door hangers cost me? How much time did it take me to put all these things out? If I have a website, how much did I spend this entire year on my website? How many leads did I get from that website? But let's just say, I know that it cost me $9 to get 1 lead off of a door hanger. And then you're gonna know how many of those you can convert. Let's say you got 100 leads off of your door hangers, you converted 5 of them. You got a 5% close rate on door hangers. Well, that's not that good. Maybe you should look at other things, unless it was really cheap. And that's a good way to get your name out. You need to know what source it came from, how many of those converted from leads to customers, and then how much money did you spend on each marketing source, so you know what is your cost per lead. Once you figure that out, then you can figure out what your cost per client is. If I spent $1,000 on door hangers, I got 100 leads off that. I converted 5 of them. I got 5 customers off of door hangers. So I would take 1,000 divided by 5, cost me $200 to get 1 customer off of door hangers. Maybe that's good for you, maybe that's not. It just depends on how much that client is valued to you. So every single lead source is very unique. Maybe door hangers, maybe that customer only stays with you for 1 year. And so maybe $200 doesn't make any sense. I'm not gonna spend $200 to make $500 this year on a customer. But maybe that customer from Google Ads, let's say, those customers stay with you for 5 years. And maybe I'm making $1,200 a year on that customer. If I'm making $1,200 a year, they stay for 5 years, that means I just made $6,000. I would spend $200 to make $6,000 every single day. Okay, so $6,000, I made 60% gross profit. That means I know how much money left over, how much net profit is there. That's when you start using analytics to make marketing decisions, when you start getting a little bit bigger. How many leads, where are sources from, how much it costs for that lead per source, how many of those leads converted into a customer. And then that is going to tell you, okay, maybe I should spend more money on this lead source than this other lead source. If it costs me $50 to acquire a customer on Google, and it costs me $200 to acquire a customer on Facebook, next year, I know that I'm going to double down on Google because it only cost me $50 to acquire a customer on Google, if those numbers were true. But this is just an example. Those are a couple things to think about when you're mastering your marketing going into 2025. Drop a line down in the comments below. What are you going to do for marketing for this year? Do you need any help with that marketing for this year? Be more than happy to help. I'm sure other people in the group would be more than happy to help, maybe give you ideas. Put that comment below and let us know. And then we can start helping you work backwards and make sure that your 2025 is the best year that you have ever had in business. We can't wait to see you guys next week for week 3.